Next episode, next story. Let's do this. What if the sin you're judged for is actually your greatest virtue? The 7 deadly sins have both Greco-Roman and Catholic origins, but modern references to them often point to Catholicism. Likewise, the 7 virtues are the ways to eliminate the deadly sins. But today, I'm going to tell you the story of how the sins actually ended up being the virtue. If you've never seen 7 Deadly Sins, I have a video reviewing season 1, which also includes a plot summary, so go check that out and then come back here. In the 7 Deadly Sins, each character is marked by a biblical sin, but when you compare them to the original meanings, something strange starts to happen. The 7 deadly sins are pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. So let's get started. Sloth is often thought of as laziness, but it's way deeper than that. It's sadness in the face of purpose. The opposing virtue is diligence. King is slow to act at first, weighed down by grief and guilt. He was given the sin of sloth after abandoning the fairy king's forest and being blamed for the deaths that followed. He had actually been suffering from amnesia during this time. Once his memory returned, we see King's same sadness fuel him to protect what he once abandoned. In the end, it wasn't diligence that saved anyone. It was his sadness. Wrath is described as unjust anger, but the key word here is unjust. Anger itself is not wrong. The opposing virtue is meekness. Meliodas was labeled the sin of wrath after he destroyed Danafor and everyone in it. But that wasn't blind rage, it was heartbreak. Liz had been cursed and her death triggered everything. Meliodas wouldn't have saved her if it was for meekness. Wrath was the only thing powerful enough to break the cycle. If you're still watching, let me know which sin you think is the most understood in the comments. Gluttony is the sin of overindulgence, usually in food or drink. The opposing virtue is temperance. Now, in Merlin's case, this wasn't applied literally. It was metaphorical for her insatiable thirst of knowledge. She's the only sin who wasn't falsely accused. She chose her crime and she owned it. Merlin manipulated everyone, even the gods, just to awaken chaos and get her answers. It wasn't right, but without gluttony, none of the others would have found their purpose. Temperance would have kept the world safe, but it also kept it stuck. Envy isn't just jealousy. It's sorrow when someone else has something that you want. The opposing virtue is charity. Diane was blamed for killing Matrona out of envy, along with 330 knights. But we know she didn't do it. And even when she felt jealous, it never made her cruel. For example, despite her unrequited love for Meliodas, she never harmed the princess. Her feelings weren't about taking from others. It was about protecting what mattered. Charity might have told her to step aside, but envy is what made her fight. Do you think you can handle being falsely accused and living your life on the run? Comment what you would do below. Lust is the excessive desire for pleasure, usually romantic or sexual. The opposing virtue is chastity. Gowther was accused of violating Nadja and causing her death, earning him the sin of lust. But the truth is, they loved each other, and in her final moments, he was only trying to ease her pain. Gowther has always struggled to understand emotions, but his goal has never changed: to protect the emotional state of others. Lust wasn't the crime, it was the only means to an end that Gowther knew. Greed is the desire for more than you need, and the opposing virtue is generosity. Bond was blamed for destroying the fairy king's forest and for killing the guardian of the fountain of youth. Now, what he really wanted was a second chance to bring someone he loved back to life. He wasn't generous, he was desperate. And generosity would have meant letting go of Elaine. But greed gave him the courage to fight for something impossible. Would you have done things differently if you were in Bond's place? Let me know in the comments. Pride is placing yourself above others, whether or not you've earned it. The opposing virtue is humility. Escanor was feared for his strength and blamed for destruction. even when he was just saving people. He didn't ask to be powerful though. He just was. And we know Escanor is by far one of the strongest sins, and humility does not win wars. Power does. Have you noticed the common theme here yet? With the exception of Merlin, each of the sins that were given to the members were actually no fault of their own. And the sins that they were given ended up being the only solution to their problems. What does this tell us about sin and what we've been taught about it? I know this is fictional, but can we think of any time that exhibiting sinful behavior got us the result that we wanted? Maybe there's been virtue in sin all along. Now you take that and do what you will with it. Subscribe for more anime content and let me know what you want to see next. When one arc ends, another one begins. See you next time.